Jimmy Fallon is cancelled, celebrities react to Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner's divorce, and of course, Joe Jonas's PR stunt. We have reached the end of the week, and wow, do we have a lot to discuss. We all remember Ellen DeGeneres and James Corden's huge scandal, right? Well, now Jimmy Fallon is facing similar accusations surrounding a toxic work environment. Fallon has been running this popular talk show, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, since 2014, and their 10th season was just recently wrapped up earlier this year. However, many employees working for Fallon have come out to discuss how their dream job was now ruined due to Fallon's behavior. It was apparently so bad that some started to refer to Jimmy's nicer days as good Jimmy days, and the days he is harder to work with as bad Jimmy days. Apparently, during rehearsals, he would be drunk, some employees believed at least, and would forget actions he has done. The erratic behavior was so bad that many employees witnessed this happening. Unfortunately, when you are not treating everyone nicely, it is going to affect how your employees act, as well as the potential of bad management skills are slowly rubbing off on them. In fact, they went through 9 showrunners within the past 9 years, which if you ask me, seems like none of them enjoy working in the so-called toxic work environment. If it was such a great job, I'm sure they would not have gone through so many showrunners, especially because this job would be one many people only dream about. Due to the fame and social ladder Jimmy Fallon has climbed, many of those who have worked for him were too afraid to stand up for themselves, as angry Fallon does not seem like a goal for anyone. It makes it harder when there is not only a power imbalance, but also because there are many risks for those that are employed to The Tonight Show. Speaking up can not only cause Fallon to be angry, but your whole job is at risk. And for many people, that risk is not worth losing a job, which is totally fair. Not only is Fallon directly accused of belittling and trying to intimidate those who worked below him, other bosses working for the talk show were allegedly doing the same thing. It seems the whole workplace continued to grow in toxicity as others were beginning to act the very same way Fallon was. Many claim to be actually afraid of Jimmy due to the extremities of his outbursts. Because of his inconsistent outbursts, I don't blame them for walking around eggshells all the time. 7 former employees of The Tonight Show have stated the toxic work environment has impacted their mental health. Yup, not 1 or 2, but 7. It was so toxic that many employees have come out to say it was common to hear other people talking and joking about wanting to take their own lives. Not only that, but many often refer to the guest dressing room as their crying room because of how many people would go in there when they were upset and let their emotions out. It must have really been terrible for these employees to start giving nicknames to rooms they used to cry in. It must have been hard trying to get through your day at work, especially with all that stress and pressure surrounding you. Clearly, more than just a few employees felt this way while working for Fallon, as making jokes about ending their life because of how awful the work environment was for them shows how bad this workplace was for a numerous amount of staff members, and that sounds extremely unhealthy, and I can't even imagine how these employees are feeling. Rolling Stones actually reached out to 30 more former employees for The Tonight Show for comments, and many did talk about how Fallon has comedic gifts and talent, but none, yes, 0 of them mentioned a positive experience while working for Fallon. Remember the 9 showrunners they went through in 9 years? Well, none of them gave a comment or even a statement of support, which is very common in the industry. You may be wondering what Jimmy Fallon, the man himself, has to say about this. Well, after these reports came out, he then decided to have a Zoom call meeting with the members of his staff and apologize for his behavior by stating how sorry he was and how he felt embarrassed. Well, it is unfortunate to hear another talk show host who seemed to be so loving on camera to be the complete opposite behind the scenes, because nobody ever called out Fallon on his behavior. He could have been unaware they were feeling mistreated. I don't blame the employees for not calling him out, because not only is Jimmy their boss, but it does put their job at risk. And if all the claims of his erratic behaviors are true, I would absolutely do anything I can to avoid being on Fallon's bad side. Although no one directly addressed Fallon over the years, it is one of his responsibilities to ensure the workplace is somewhat safe for everyone, and if that means finally hearing what others have called you out on, then so be it. It is truly unfair for these employees, as we also have no idea how long this has been going on for. While the cycle of showrunners date back to 2014, which means there is potential the workplace has not been safe since the very beginning of this talk show. Well, now that he has apologized, I guess we'll have to wait and see if employees feel like this was genuine and if changes begin to happen. Now, there's no way you haven't heard about Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner's divorce. Well, many celebrities shared their thoughts on this news. If you somehow didn't hear, Joe Jonas has filed for divorce from his wife of 4 years and the mother of their 2 children, Sophie Turner. There has been a ton of speculation hinting at a divorce for some time. However, However, just recently it has been confirmed once Jonas filed. The two have apparently been having issues since last December, and Sophie also decided to separate from Joe during the beginning of summer of this year. Joe tried to reignite their relationship by flying to the UK to visit her. However, they were unable to solve their problems as Joe filed for divorce. Well, Sophie took it to Instagram to post a statement from both her and Joe. The statement discusses how her and Joe mutually decided to end the marriage and hope everyone respects their privacy, especially during this time, for the sake of them and their children. Marion Cotillard, best known for her Academy Award-winning performance in La Vie en Rose, ran to the Instagram comments and made it known she was devastated by the news. She commented, "No, no, no, no," with a bunch of extra letter O's, and her cap locks turn on. So yes, she was obviously hurt and surprised by this news. Since then, Turner did turn off the comments on her post. Even though comments are now restricted, some of Sophie's fellow Game of Thrones stars such as Emilia Clarke and Macy Williams showed the now ex-couple support on their decision by giving the post a like. In fact, Macy was actually Turner's maid of honor back in 2019 when she got married to Joe. Even Emily Ratajkowski, a popular model and actress, addressed her thoughts on this divorce. She took to TikTok to talk about how some find it quote-unquote chic to divorce before they turn 30. Although she doesn't mention anyone by name, this video was posted while all the news about this divorce broke out. And especially since Sophie is 27, it does seem like Emily was hinting at the situation surrounding Jonas and Turner. And if you're wondering how Joe's bandmates, aka brothers, are reacting to this news, well, nothing has come out yet, but the first concert they had since divorce filing was in Arizona. On stage, the three brothers Joe, Nick, and Kevin shared a group hug, followed by Nick giving Joe a shout out on stage while expressing his joy to be back where his favorite person in the entire world was born, and that was his brother Joe. I'm very sorry, Kevin. Another celebrity that vocalized their opinion on this situation was Lily Reinhart. This actress is best known for her role as Betty in the show Riverdale, starring many other actors you may have heard of before such as Cole Sprouse and KJ Apa. Well, she decided to tweet her opinion by discussing how she's disgusted by men in the industry as they continue to paint women as the toxic ones. Although she did not directly address any names, many believe it was about Joe and Sophie, especially because she chose to tweet this following the news of their divorce. She also tweeted a similar message before this one, and her tweet read, "Stop making villains out of women every chance you get," especially since there has been numerous rumors surrounding the situation, and most of them accusing Sophie of being a bad mother because of the apparent partying phase Turner is in. This definitely correlates with what Lily tweeted about, but obviously we don't know for sure. So far, it has been pretty mixed where people stand when it comes to the news of this divorce. Many fans believe Joe and Sophie should do whatever it takes for them to be happy co-parents for their kids, whereas others are extremely devastated and shocked by this news, especially because of how many people have looked up to them and idolized them. These celebrities also seem to be mixed on where they stand with both Joe and Sophie, but maybe with time more people will speak their opinion on what happened. Although this sudden news did shock me, I'm hoping these two are able to move forward and start a new chapter in their lives, all while co-parenting. A divorce is hard enough for both parties and even harder for children. Now imagine your family's issues being blasted all over the internet. It definitely makes the situation a little harder to manage because of all the heavy public speculation. I mean, we've seen a countless amount of celebrity divorces, and with maybe some time apart can help strengthen their relationship in order to co-parent. While we're on the topic of Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner, Joe Jonas is facing a ton of backlash ever since his alleged PR stunt. Right after the news about his divorce became public, Joe was seen with his two daughters alongside the nanny at a restaurant. So what's the big deal? Well, Sophie has always made it known that she cares about her children's privacy. Pictures of their daughter were never released to the public. Their second child's name was also never been told to the public. And with the amount of attention and cameras these celebrities have on them all the time, Sophie was only being a responsible mother when it came to protecting their children, and who can blame her? In fact, Sophie has opened up in the past about how being in the spotlight since the age of 14 has definitely damaged her mental health. Knowing this, we can only assume she does not want her kids to go through what she has been through, and we all know the media can be extra tough when it comes to women, and with two daughters, she's only taking precaution. It doesn't make sense why Joe decided to suddenly show their kids publicly right after the news broke out. And it wasn't like the paparazzi caught the photos of the kids by accident, as Joe decided to sit outside facing the paparazzi. I'm assuming if this is a PR stunt, it was done to make Joe seem like a great father looking after his kids during this tough time, but it definitely backfired as a ton of people are angry with how he is being careless and completely disregarding the importance of their children's safety, as discussed by Sophie a numerous amount of times. This does not make Joe look good, as it appears he is using his children to boost his appearance. There has been a numerous amount of people responding to the PR stunts by Jonas, and many are very disappointed and stated they've lost all respects for him and question his personality as a whole. Joe has not faced much backlash in the past, which continued to mislead his fans to believing he's a good person. However, theories of Taylor Swift's 2008 single, Mr. Perfectly Fine, are indeed about Joe Jonas. The song talks about a toxic relationship and how this unnamed person would always orchestrate things in advance to prevent looking bad in front of the public eye while hiding all the issues behind the scenes, which in this case would align with how Joe is currently being seen. I personally think this was a huge mistake for Jonas, as it honestly made me see him through a different light as well. I mean, what was the need to have to get your kids involved into this drama surrounding their parents? It makes it even worse that Sophie made it very obvious and well known to the public about the importance of safety when it came to their two daughters. So it does seem like whatever intention Joe has behind this PR stunt was not a good one. It truly makes it seem like Joe is doing this to spite his former partner, and I am glad people are calling him out for his actions.